Okay. Whew. I've never sat up here before. Oh my gosh, I have something on my sweater. It's Tess, this is Wander Wealthy, and today I'm coming at you from my parents' house in small town Iowa. I decided to pay my siblings a quick visit, although my parents aren't even here, so I just have this whole house to myself. And it's so funny because my parents' home is considerably larger than my little condo in Chicago, yet I, for some reason, cannot find any place to record in here. So I decided, why not on top of the coffee table? I don't know if any of you are from a small town, but in my hometown, people just kind of like come and go as they please. We're friends with our neighbors, so people will just walk into my parents' house even if my parents aren't home. And so I'm really, really worried that someone's gonna walk in the door and I'm gonna be sitting on top of the coffee table speaking into a camera. So yeah. Anyway, it is almost Valentine's Day, hence the red lips. So I decided it would be super fun to share 10 really great, cheap, or free Valentine's Day ideas that you can take with your lover or with your girlfriends, or even yourself, whoever you're celebrating Valentine's Day with. And that way, you don't have to break the bank. Plus, I just think that sometimes we over-exaggerate or, I don't know, work up Valentine's Day to have to be this other big thing that we have to spend so much more money on and make it all romantic. To me, I have just as much fun doing nothing as I probably have in the past on Valentine's Day. So, just a little thought. These are 10 ideas that I personally would do, and they don't make your wallet cry. This is something that I love to do because I love food, but it's also scientifically proven to increase people's bonds when they cook together. What's more fun than finding a recipe, going to the grocery store, getting the ingredients, and then going home and spending the time cooking? And even if you're terrible at it, then you can fail at cooking together, and it's still a really fun activity to do. Plus, it will save you money from going out and having to potentially pay for an expensive meal at a restaurant. And if you have grocery stores like we do in Chicago, you can even get a glass of wine or a beer and walk around while you're grocery shopping, which just makes it that much more fun. Find something that you are both passionate about, ways that you can give back, and spend your time during the day, either on Valentine's Day or a day surrounding it, having a date day where you go and you give back together. There's nothing better than feeling good about how you spent your time and being able to do it with someone that you really care about. I know most of you are probably like, that sounds terrible, but you know what they say, misery loves company. I personally love to work out. I like to do CrossFit and other group fitness classes, and I think it's kind of fun killing each other and then being able to build each other back up. Going and getting, I don't know, a donut or something. Even if you completely reverse the process, it's still a fun process to go through. Idea number 4 is to go to a coffee house and actually sit and enjoy the coffee and the conversation. I spend lots of times in coffee shop getting coffee, drinking coffee, but also working. And I think it's so fun when I see someone else going to the coffee house and reading a book or just engaging in really great conversation with the person that they're there with. So whether you're spending Valentine's Day on your own, then treat yourself to a coffee and a good book. And if you're with someone else, get some coffee and just have a nice chat. Talk about something deep. Maybe idea number 10, which you'll have to stay on this video to find out what that is. Depending on the city that you live in or the town, even my hometown that I'm in right now has a museum. You probably have museums. And a lot of these museums have free days where locals can access the museum and walk through it and learn something new. Now, Valentine's Day in 2018 falls on a Wednesday, which is a great day for a free museum. At least that's what I think. But if the free museum day doesn't fall on a Wednesday and it's a different day, then just change Valentine's Day. No one's going to get you in trouble for that. So grab your honey or yourself and go to the museum of your choice and learn something new. Once you've spent all day at the museum, walking around on your feet, it's time to kick back and relax, and what better way to do that than watching a good movie? Don't go to the movie theater and pay $15, which is what I did the other day, not realizing it was going to cost me that much. How did movies get so expensive? You can just as easily find a movie, rent one out of a Redbox, if those still exist, or just find one on Netflix or on TV or on the internet, however you want to find your movies, and pop some popcorn, pour some $2 Chuck wine from Trader Joe's, and enjoy the movie evening. Idea number 6 is to go thrift shopping together for each other. If you're up for the challenge, I think it's super fun to go to thrift stores and find some ridiculous items, buy it for your friends, and then make them wear it the rest of the day. And kind of go on about your normal day, but wearing these ridiculous items. It's a true form of self-expression through the other person that has to wear the clothes. And I just think it's really fun to share in the embarrassment, but the laughs and the humor as well. Plus, you're thrift shopping, so it shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg, and it's a small price to pay for a full day of hilariousness. This might be a little bit more pricey, but if you can find a really cool cooking class where not only do you learn something new, but you also cook a meal, or a class where you do the wine and painting or whatever it is, I think that is such a great value for the money that you pay for it, and you get to do it together, and what better way to learn something new than on a date? Idea number 8 is to get lost in your own city or town or surrounding towns. For the small price of gas, you can take the time to drive around or even walk around your city and find something new. Find a coffee shop that you've never been to before, or an alley with some really cool art painting, or a new museum that you can get in for free. Or just walk around and take in the sights and enjoy the time together learning something new about the place that you live. You're probably going to hate me for this, but it's to have a money date. Depending on where you are in your relationship, and I would recommend this to be with a partner that you trust, talk more openly or get the conversation started about money. Finances can be an uncomfortable issue, but what's more uncomfortable is getting too far into a relationship and then not revealing some things that are very important and critical to discuss in your relationship. So sit down and start very lightly. Talk about how you grew up around money and how money was for you as a child, to help understand where you come from and where your partner comes from a spending or a saving or a debt kind of mindset. Then you can feel it out and see how comfortable you are with talking about where you like to spend money now, or what some of your goals are that might have financial attachments. The more you open up and you kind of decide to put yourself out there and be a little bit vulnerable, the easier it will become in talking about money as you go on into the future. And the easier it will be with the pressure that it could potentially put on your relationship. So try to start as early as you are comfortable with. Make sure that you do trust the other person to respect your money situation, or maybe even your past with money, and be open and have that conversation. It will be a huge game changer for your relationship to start opening yourself up in those vulnerable money related areas and talking about this very sensitive but very, very important topic. And finally, number 10 is to answer the 36 questions that will have you potentially falling in love. One of my friends turned me on to this New York Times article that listed out 36 questions that start fairly basic, and as you get lower on the list or further down the list, they get more and more personal and potentially vulnerable. And I think it's such a fun thing to do. When my boyfriend and I were on a road trip last summer, we did this, and it took us hours, and it could take you a really long time, but it's also really fun to just sit down and have some of these deep conversations that we don't always make time for, or maybe there are questions that we don't always think about asking, and they could lead to a much deeper connection with the person that you are sharing your time with. And that wraps up the 10 cheap or free date ideas that will make your Valentine's Day even better, but not totally break the bank. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to my channel already, because I come back to you on a weekly basis with a new video all about money, personal development, and or travel. So if you don't want to miss a thing, make sure you hit subscribe. And if you want to continue the conversation beyond the camera, then come into the Wealthy Wanderers Facebook community. We're at wanderwealthy.com/FB, where you can learn how you can get involved either on my email list or get into the Facebook group and start the conversation there. It's full of women who are setting goals and getting after their goals in all different aspects of their life, and we're just there to support each other, learn from each other, and grow. So wanderwealthy.com/FB. We're digging further into this year with an investment series, so if you don't want to miss that, then get in the group. Until I see you there, I hope you wander wealthy.